guys, it's Lindsay. We're going to do the fire sign reading for February 2026. As always, if any of these messages don't align for you, please take only what you need and leave the rest. Tarot is about empowerment for me, so if it doesn't empower you, then the message is not for you. Okay? So we're going to get into it. We're going to do a general reading for fire signs for February 2026. See if we get any messages that are relevant. Let's see. There's something about somebody looking in on you or you looking in on somebody. Like, I see, like, peeking in. You know, like, peeking in the window. Looking in. So it's either you or this person, and it's like they are checking up on you, fire signs, or you are checking up on someone that you haven't checked up on in a while. Okay, so you're peeking in. And I think that part of this, whether it's you or them, fire signs, you're in this reminiscing kind of energy in February 2026. So we have the Four of Cups, and you see he's looking at the tree, and he's not seeing the cups that are behind him that are full, but he's looking at the tree. So it's almost like looking at the past type energy. And we have the Sun. So looking at the past in a favorable light, maybe more favorable than, you know, how you are now. Okay. It's really kind of looking for, it's giving like missing certain connections, okay, is what it's giving off the bat. And this becomes particularly strong in February, so some of that may be like romantic connections, missing people you've had romantic connections with in the past, especially if it's like a Valentine's Day thing and you celebrate that. But in general, the energy is very much looking over the past with like this eye of, oh, it was better then, I felt better then, I missed this person type of energy that's coming through. So we're going to start with Aries and see what's happening. I'm hearing show up. Show up, Aries. What does that mean? Show up. I'm seeing like a stage, and showing up on a stage, showing up on a performance, showing up on a performance. So that may actually be like a stage for some of you, but for others of you, it's like the performance of your life, right? Feeling like you're performing your life right now, especially in the month of February, Aries. It's become a performance, okay? And not just in one area of your life, but in multiple areas of your life. You're being asked to perform, and you're like, I'm not a performer, or I'm not a performer anymore, and I don't want to perform anymore. I don't want to put on a show, basically, is what it is. So you're coming into this energy. We have the Emperor energy, Aries. The Emperor is the one who kind of dictates from his chair. He doesn't need to get up in order for people to follow him, right? He tells people what to do and they do it, right? So that's a seated power. I call the cards that are like this, so if you notice, it's usually the Kings and Queens and the Emperor and the Empress. They're all seated, okay? They don't need to get up for, or the Kings and Queens are usually seated, but the Emperor and Empress are always seated. They don't need to get up for people to follow their orders, basically, and do what needs to be done. Okay, so they have this power where they don't need to expend themselves physically in order to get things done. And I think that's where you're coming into in February, Aries, because we have the World. You're closing the cycle of having to expend yourself physically or overexpend yourself physically in order to get things done around you, or have people kind of like do things around you that, you know, you need assistance with, okay? So you're stepping into your power, but it's also about, there's something with the head, the temple, like, you're also thinking about yourself in a different way, okay? I think it has to do with you know, how you perceive yourself. You're perceiving yourself differently. In the past, where you perceived yourself as someone who didn't have, you know, a lot of power per se, you're starting to come into your own and like really speak your truth, and not even in a way where you have to like shout it. You just speak your truth, right? And so it's that Emperor energy. 90% of it is truly about your perception of yourself. Your perception of yourself is changing, and you're growing into yourself. You know, you're growing into your voice, and you're being more assured of your voice, especially in spaces where you have before not been assured of your voice. Okay, now you're like, I know this. I know what I'm talking about, and I know that I'm right type of energy. So we have the star. The star is Aquarius energy. That's my card. And it's like you're not afraid to be who you are anymore. And you're also, you're not going to put on a performance to please other people anymore, Aries, okay, in certain environments. And I think for a lot of you, it has to do with work. So you feel like you no longer have to put on a performance or in work, you know, in order to, you know, get paid or do the work or whatever, you know. You're seeing your value now, especially in February, and let's get a little deeper into this message. This is pretty interesting. I think it's come out of a lot of hermiting for you, Aries. So you've been spending a lot of time alone with your thoughts, and you've been kind of going, like we were talking about in the general reading, going over your life and seeing how much you've brought into other people's lives and how you've shown up in other people's lives. And you're like, no, actually, like, I do have value. I am important, and I don't need to put on like a display in order for people to, you know, like me, or in order for people to hear me, right? So now you're sitting in this King of Cups energy. And also the other part of that is you leading your emotions and not letting your emotions lead you. That's King of Cups energy. I feel a lot of it in the past was, you know, you weren't in that assured energy because you let your emotions lead you a lot. And I don't think that's the case anymore, especially in February. It's going to become clear to you. And I think it's moving you to other places. You're definitely going, I don't think you're going anywhere fast, but you're definitely getting somewhere. And this is the starting point, is like your change of your perspective on yourself, Aries. It definitely is the starting point. Okay, fire signs. Leo, February 2026. That was a fast one. The devil has shown himself, Leo. The devil has shown himself. He's scary. Look at him. He's also jacked. The devil. There's something around deceit, Leo. Either you deceiving or others deceiving. In the way that Aries was putting on a performance, there's something about performance as well in relationships specifically. Aries, we were talking more about work, but you were talking about personal relationships, either being deceiving or having been deceived. And it's definitely giving like power game that's happening here, because we have temperance. We have the temperance card, and then we have the judgment card. Okay. And so I think you looking back is more on, Leo, you looking back at your personal relationships, on where you have maybe not been so truthful with others, or, you know, others have not been so truthful with you, and that's the looking back, and that's the devil energy, okay? But there's something, I need more clarification on this devil, because he's like, he has a very strong energy, and he's coming in, and it's like, I'm hearing something's coming back to bite you. And I think for some of you, it may have been where you maybe weren't so truthful in certain relationships, and something's coming back to bite you. 5 of Swords, okay? And if this is the other way around, Leo, this is you coming in for your comeuppance on someone who wasn't so truthful with you. Okay, and this is like a long time ago. Okay, so this is like a couple years or things like that, that you're coming back around and you're getting your kind of like comeuppance basically in February is the way it's coming through. Yeah, because you have the 2 figures staring out the window. This is 5 of Pentacles, has to do with home, relationships, money, family. So it may specifically for some of you be around, family. So I just keep hearing the word comeuppance, like, so either you're getting it or someone's comeuppance for you. So just be aware of that, you know. And if you know that to be true, if you know maybe you weren't so forthcoming with someone, February's energy is like, there's something coming back for you. Either way, there's something coming back for you. And in some ways, this is interesting because I think for some of you, it's actually coming back in dreams, okay? So you may see this person appearing in your dreams, or you may be connecting with them in your dreams, and it's haunting. Like, it's a very, like, it's giving a haunting energy that's coming through, and it's almost like you can't shake the energy during the day. So you may very well know who this person is or what it's about because you can't shake the energy during the day, okay? And it's following you around in February. And I think part of that, you have the 10 of Cups again, is like this energy that, you know, you thought something was something, like the 10 of Cups energy, but it's not, or it wasn't. And now, after quite a while, you're finally processing it, okay? So that's what it gets. That's specifically, it's so specific around personal relationships. So either like romantic relationships or a friendship. You know, you thought you perceived a relationship or a friendship in this way, the 10 of Cups way, and you thought you had settled it, but something is coming around. Like, it's not quite settled. It's coming back again. And it also gives this energy, Leo, of you wanting to run, okay? You wanting to run from either the repercussions of yourself, or you wanting to run after the person and like make sure that they get their comeuppance is what I'm getting. That's interesting. Okay. Where are we? Aries, Leo. We're going to do Sag for February 2026. Sagittarius. We're not taking that many. That's way too many. And I think that's part of Sagittarius' message for 2026. Too much on your plate, Sag. Too much happening here. We have the Emperor and we have the King of Cups. Same cards that Aries got. Same cards. Masculine energy. Masculine energy. So I feel like when we were doing the general reading at the beginning, Sag, it was, we were talking about, the, me over here forgetting what we were talking about at the beginning. And I think that's part of the energy that I'm getting, Sag, in February. Like we were saying too much on your plate. Too much on your plate, because when you have too much on your plate, you start slipping and forgetting things, okay? And you're trying to both be the Emperor, and like direct your life, and then you're also trying to be the King of Cups, where like emotionally you're trying to hold yourself. But it's like I see so many plates piled on a table that like one slips off, like the coffee cup slips off and it hits the floor, and you're like, oh no, and you go to reach for the coffee cup and then the plate over here falls off, and it's like all these plates and stacks, and they just start to like fall off. And so for you, Sag, February is like, I'm hearing just let it fall. You know, the stuff that's less important, just let it fall, because you don't have the mind capacity like me forgetting what we were talking about in the beginning of the reading. You don't have the mind capacity to hold on and remember every single thing, you know, and keep it all together and keep your emotions together and be the emperor and all this. February, it's like, let the things fall to where they're going to fall, because you just can't. You can't control it anymore, okay? You're not, and I think now it's coming back. So we're at the beginning, we were talking about the general reading. We were talking about, you know, looking on the past in a certain way. I feel like you, Sag, you look upon the past like, I was capable of doing this, and the other thing, and I had all this energy, and I'm able to do this, and the other thing, and, you know, you took pride in being able to handle lots of things, Sagittarius, and you're at this point in your life, you're like, why can't I handle all these things? This is not as much as I've ever handled. I'd handle more things, and it's like you feel like you're failing because you're not handling everything that you should be failing. You should be handling, not you should be handling. So I think, and part of this is like the pressures of what's going on in the outside world and not just your personal life. The stressors, you shouldn't be expected to handle all these things, okay? And I think it's like, let some of these things go, you know, emotionally, mentally, physically. Let what's gonna fall. And I did do a reading on TikTok. If you haven't seen, you can go check out my TikTok. It's linked. But there was a reading about kind of that, like letting things fall away because other things are coming in. But like, you want to be the one who holds it all together. You know, you want to be the one who has everything, all the plates lined up and perfectly set and all that stuff. And I'm like, my guy, stop. 5 of Cups, because you're gonna send yourself into literally a like emotional whirlpool is what I'm getting, because you're so focused on holding it all together that like emotionally you're not holding it together, right? Okay, any last messages? Yeah, so mentally you have to make decisions on what you can hold and what you can't hold in February 2026. Sag, that is the message. Okay. My name is Lindsey Rose. This is Storyteller Tarot. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please comment, like, subscribe, share. I always enjoy feedback. If you want your own personal reading, the links are in bio. I do have, you know, like shorter readings. I do have like 3 card readings, and then I have full-blown readings for you guys available on my website. And I also have a TikTok, and that's what I got. So, I wish you guys all well in the new year.